Well, yesterday sure was a bad day for old Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. They did not have a good day yesterday. One, Star Wars Galactic Cruiser closes. I've read that thing cost up to $2 billion. I think that's probably if you combine both hotels, because don't forget there's one in Florida and there's one in California. I don't know if there's any other than those two. Those numbers, I don't know if those are official or not. That's just what a couple of outlets reported. I think I saw it on Deadline. I did a video on it. It was in the article. That's what they said. I don't know anything about how much it costs to build hotels or anything like that, or the salaries that they paid people. So just take that for what it is. But it's closing. That is a catastrophic failure because it's only been around for like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. It hasn't been here very long. And then they lifted the embargo for Indiana Jones 5. I don't know why they did that so early. That movie doesn't come out for like another month. Another month. So that's why it's just a little bit weird to me. And the reviews aren't good. The reviews are not good for it. And usually, I would say, okay, well, critics don't like it. Maybe it'll be good. I highly doubt it this time. I think, in fact, the reviews they're giving it are probably better than what it really is. It should honestly probably be down there to 10 or 11%, but it's still hovering up there at 43 or 50 last time I looked at it. I think it's just an awful movie. It's a Kathleen Kennedy product. So and she had a heavy hand in this movie, by the way. I just want to make sure you know that. A heavy hand in this movie. Once again, another failure for Kathleen Kennedy, who won't be fired, by the way. I'm sure there'll be a lot of rumors swirling that Kathleen Kennedy's going to get fired for sure. Listen, she leaves when she wants to leave. That's obvious as hell at this point. She could run around Disneyland with a can of gasoline and go crazy, and they still would not fire this woman. She could go to prison and she would still be allowed to run Lucasfilm. She would be sending orders via the jail payphone. Another bad thing that happened that really wasn't talked about that much, or we're going to hit on in this video, is that Willow was removed from Disney Plus as a cost-cutting measure. Now, you want to know what's some bullshit about this? Is remember when David Zaslav first stepped into the role of CEO over at Warner Discovery? One of the first things he did was remove a bunch of garbage from HBO Max that nobody watched. And what were they doing when he did that? They were calling him racist and sexist and ableist and istophobic, because he was removing all of the shows that focused on minorities or groups, like discriminated groups or whatever. Go look at those headlines and then look at this headline. What a sack of shit all this is. They're so biased and they don't even hide it. Here's the headline for when Disney does it. Willow Dollface among dozens of titles being pulled from Disney Plus, Hulu, and cost-cutting move. It's so biased. They run around and attacked Warner for the same shit Disney does it. Well, they're just cutting costs. That's what Warner was doing too, buddy. But, it's different this time. It's different when Disney does it. I can't stand Access Media. Look at the preferential treatment that they give Disney on everything. So a lot of shows, Willow, that show just came out. This show ain't even that old. What is this show, a couple months old? I remember I did a video on it not that long ago talking about how the ratings were awful for it. So Willow, a show that should have never been made, and I hate that they call it Willow because it confuses it with the movie, which is actually pretty good. Confuses it with the movie. Should call it Willow Sucks. I mean, Not like anyone watched anyway, so who would care? If anything, that probably make them want to watch it. Why does it suck? Why is it called Willow Sucks? So, this show already pulled. I find this hilarious. This show should have never been made. They made this show, and they don't even tell you about it. I have no idea what the plot for this movie is, other than they compared it to The Last Jedi. Or it's not a movie, I'm sorry, it's a show. I saw it was compared to The Last Jedi at one point, and I said, I'm out. They said, well, it's got girls kissing in it. They're in a relationship. That was like the whole focus of all of the marketing. Wow, way to really drive in people to watch it. So here's all of the shows that are getting pulled. All of them gone. Look at all this stuff. All this stuff. Mighty Ducks. Was that a show or is that the original? I would find it hard to believe they're pulling the actual movie off. I would imagine people watch that. The original movie is pretty good. That must be a show or something. That must be some of their original content nobody watched. So this is all the shit they're taking off Disney Plus. They're also taking some stuff off Hulu. Look what's coming off Hulu, by the way. Why? The Last Man. That was a terrible show, too, that they canceled. Took a comic that people liked that actually sounds like a interesting premise. In the comic is a disease that kills all the guys. And it's basically women, trying to survive. There's one guy that's still alive and can reproduce. Why The Last Man? That's it. But the show decided to not focus on him and focused on girl power and wanted to make it a feminist show or some shit, which is funny because the whole society is collapsing and falling apart because there's no men. Like they're literally using horses and shit, but somehow this society is better. Who did they get to clean the sewer or like fix sewers and construct buildings, by the way, with all the men dead? So, I find this funny. What a terrible day for Kathleen Kennedy. I saw that she was trending too. I don't know if she's going to pop up. Yeah, there she is. Oh, Kathleen Kennedy trending right now. What are people saying? Kathleen Kennedy is having a great day from Robot Head. Some variety stuff. It's not letting me see what people say. Oh, this is great. When you ask Kathleen Kennedy, she'd say none of that shit ever existed. This is in response to OG Star Wars, who says Lucas's day-to-day activities in the main house include the management of the Star Wars story, which is probably the most carefully tended secular story on Earth, unlike Star Trek, which is a series of episodes connected by no central narrative. Star Wars is a single story, a finite, expanding universe, in the words of Tom Dupree, who edits Batman's Star Wars novels in New York. Everyone in the content-creating galaxy of Star Wars has a copy of the Bible, a canonical document that is maintained by continuity editors. Okay, so she's talking about the EU, which actually was pretty well taken care of. And this guy's posting this quote from Kathleen Kennedy where it says, every one of these movies is a particularly hard nut to crack. There's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels. Kathleen Kennedy, Rolling Stone, November 2019. So this is when she was talking about how hard it is to make the Disney movies when there's literally like 800 EU novels and comic books. There's literally hundreds of Star Wars comic books, by the way. You have the Marvel ones, which were cheesy as hell, but they're unique and fun in their own way. And then you have all the Dark Horse comics. And this is such a full shit comment, too, by the way, because they pick and choose and cherry pick, which is the same thing, but they cherry pick whatever they want out of the EU and use it, just like they're doing Heir to the Empire. Fantastic story, which that should have been the real trilogy that we got. But now we're gonna take Heir to the Empire and make it for Ahsoka. Like, they steal from the EU all the time and then act like it doesn't exist. So This is where we're at right now. Kathleen Kennedy really took Indiana Jones to Cannes to try to create buzz, and now snooty critics are giving it a Rotten Tomatoes score. No wonder she still has a job. She's so brilliant. Yeah, she's not going to get fired. Like I said, it doesn't matter. All of these bad things that happen, this is just another drop in the bucket. I mean, people are calling it the worst day of her career, but it's like, I'm pretty sure the worst day of her career was when Solo lost money. And she tanked with Rise of Skywalker, or whatever the hell they called that movie. She never had Skywalker in it. But, you know, that movie made money, but it still started a downward trajectory for Star Wars. So, I don't know. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like I said, she could go to prison, and she'd still be allowed to run Lucasfilm. It's a joke at this point. She's never going to get fired. It's crazy. She has to know where bodies are buried at this point. She's had so much shit happen at her time at Lucasfilm, and nothing has happened. So, anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.